Hey everybody, my name is Spencer, and for the first time on the Lighten Up Initiative, joining me is Mr. Seigen Walker, my good friend. Hello, Seigen. Welcome to the channel.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today and to share this list with you guys.
And what list is that, sir?
So, today, Spencer and I are talking about our top 10 board games of all time for right now.
That's correct. This could change tomorrow if we play the right board games. So, uh, maybe not tomorrow, but who knows? But now this is going to be, I'm going to title this 10 Best Board Games of All Time. Now, I I understand that it might not be your best board game, depending on who's watching, but I guarantee you that one of these games on our lists will be enjoyable to you. So, for your criteria, what were you looking at as far as how did you decide what to put on your list?
Okay, so I've got a few qualifiers. One, I enjoy really difficult board games, ones that you are almost pulling your hair out because there's no way to win. I like those. I also like games where there are 7, 8 different ways to win. A point salad type game. I like games that you can play with a lot of people, party games. And then I would say a game that gives you an experience that you just don't forget. You remember sitting at the table and you remember coming down to the wire and you can't forget that last turn or whatever that was. So that's my criteria. What about yours?
Well, I must say before I continue, you talked about games being so hard that you pull your hair out. I mean, clearly, I've played too many hard games. Um, so
And,
uh,
and I'm working on it, but I'm not quite
you're
there yet.
not there. You haven't been in the hobby as long as I have. So you'll get there, though. I promise. Okay. So for me, my criteria is kind of like yours. I'm looking for a good experience, just from start to finish, a memorable time. Of course, it has to be fun, but these are games that I have to be able to look back and say, man, every time I play this game, it's fun, regardless of how difficult it is, regardless of what my objective is. This is a fun game that I could play, forever, many times. Well, at least for now. Might get tired of it eventually, but I don't think I would. So that's what I'm looking at. So I think that mine are pretty good. I'm excited to see what your list is. So speaking of, why don't we get started? Would you, since you're new to the channel, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
What? Sure, I'll go first. I'm
Go for
excited.
it.
Let's do
What
it.
is your number 10?
All right. So number 10 for me is the Grizzled.
Ah,
This is the perfect description of a game that is really, really hard.
yeah, and that's where half of
I
my hair went.
I mean, what can I say? You are just trying to survive. You're just trying to get through these objectives as quickly as you can because there is not a lot of time to get through it. I love it because it's a game you can play in 5 minutes. It's a game you can play in 45 minutes because that's how just it's a variable experience every time, and one that I definitely remember. Also, it has a great expansion with it as
Mm.
well. So number 10 for me is the Grizzle.
Now, were you aware that they have a new edition of it? It's called the Armistice Edition, I believe, and it comes with like these figures, and it's kind of like a campaign. I wouldn't say it's legacy
Oh,
because you can reset it, but it's like each
mhm.
each mission leads to another. And I think different things change. I don't know. I mean, it looks really interesting though. So maybe since you like it so much, you should look into that.
Yeah, something I definitely would have to check out because I definitely always look forward to bringing the Grizzle to the table
Yeah,
for
and it's
sure.
so small too. It's perfect for traveling.
Oh yeah, easy setup as well. So it's got a lot of good things in its favor.
Absolutely. All right. My number 10, speaking of good experiences and campaigns, is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Now,
Oh
I've
yes.
played all of them, Season 2 and Season 0. They're great, but nothing will ever compare to that first time, our first experience playing a Legacy game. And I just happened to play it with Seigen as one of our teammates, but just the twists and turns of the plot and things that makes you go what, and some frustrating things that kind of flip your completely change your strategy that you're used to doing with Pandemic. It's just an overall memorable experience that I'll never forget. And though I can't play it again, I mean, I would have fun maybe in a couple years playing through it again with my daughters. Like once they get into playing, I think they would enjoy it, and I would have fun. Of course, by that time, I wouldn't remember anything because I'm terrible at remembering things as it is. So I think that would be fun to play with and explore in a couple years. So my number 10, Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Yeah, I mean, how many games can you say you played 16 times and you enjoyed it that many times?
Right.
What an experience! And there are at least 2 to 3 moments right now off the top of my head that I'm thinking, "Oh my god, I remember when this happened and we all lost our minds."
Yep.
So, what an experience! That's a good one.
Wonderful. All right, let's move on to number 9.
All right, so number 9 for me is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space.
Hmm.
Now, this is a fun one for me for a couple of different reasons. One, it's very, very suspenseful.
Yeah.
It's very simple. As aliens, you're trying to eat. As a non-alien, you're trying to escape. And I like that because it's easy to wrap your head around. It's neat because you have a dry erase marker and you get to write your where you're going on your own personal board. I
Hmm.
always like stuff like that too, and it's one of the most memorable experiences I have each time we put it to the table. And my favorite thing, honestly, about it is when you get to an escape pod as a human, you may not make it. You have to draw a card to see if you make it. Like what? That's such a neat thing.
It really
And,
is.
and yes, and yes, it's frustrating, but man, it's so fun. And so number 9 for me is Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space.
It's one of those games that for me, it's hard to make something scary in a board game, but those are
Right.
some very tense moments, especially as the human, you're shouting out coordinates and you're listening to the monster or the aliens shout their coordinates. You can hear them getting closer and closer, and boy, you just never know that they might grab you. So definitely a tense but fun game for sure. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my number 9, I've played this game not well, I'll just go ahead and say it. And my number 9 is Scythe. Actually, I just
Oh, a good one.
played this a couple days ago, and it held up. Up till that, it's been like maybe a year and a half since I played it. But it was just as fun as the first time I played it. And I have this funny memory. Well, first of all, let me just say, Scythe is like this game about this alternate history where you've got these different mechs and these different factions trying to become the greatest faction by upgrading things and getting resources and whatnot. And there's some combat, but that's not the focus. The focus is how much of an engine you can build, how efficient you can be in doing your actions, which I love that kind of stuff. But one funny thing that I remember is our first time playing this game. It was at a table that didn't have cup holders, and there were a few beverages around the table, and we're in this moment where we had to put the game away as fast as we could, and we were just throwing stuff in the box, and then what do you know? Next thing we know, there's this drink that is spilled all over our sideboard, and I don't know. I mean, I kind of remember whose fault it was, but I don't know for sure, so I'm not gonna point any fingers.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to go and bring that up this early, but okay,
But it's
sure.
it's
I
a fun
mean,
memory because nothing was ruined. Like, I'm played the
yes.
game years later and there's no evidence of that. So that's a good game if you know that you can spill a drink on it and there's no damage. So uh Stonemeyer Games makes a high quality product.
And let me tell you this: any game that there is a My Little version of, I mean, come on, that's a good game, right?
It is. We are going to
So,
play My Little Scythe with my kids today. That's on the
oh,
plan for
nice.
this Saturday. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, how about we go on to number 8?
All right. So number 8 for me is Bang the Dice game.
Mm,
This is kind of where we get into the party side of things. I love this game because it's again a simple premise. You're either the sheriff and his 2 deputies trying to defend the town, or you're outlaws trying to take the town, or you're a renegade on your own, just doing whatever you want to do. So I love it. It's always a rip roaring good time. I mean, you're rolling dice, you're shooting people, you're collecting beer, you're just having a good time. I can't say enough good things about my number 8, Bang the Dice game.
yeah, it's always a successful time with this game. Always fun. It's fun whenever you're doing any kind of like accents and whatnot. You really play up the parts. That's As actors, that's something we really get into whenever we play those kinds of games. So
Oh, it's a rooting and shooting good
don't
time.
forget,
Yes, that's right.
don't forget tootin'.
A rootin', tootin', shooting good
Here
time.
you
There
go.
we go.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. My number 8. So I tend to like Lovecraftian games like Cthulhu and those kinds of weird investigative like 1920s style themed games. And so there are lots of those. So it's really hard for me to pick, but I have to go with my number 8, Arkham Horror the 3rd edition.
Mm.
Um, I this game, it takes a lot of the elements from other games that I like Arkham Horror, the card game, Eldritch Horror, Mansions of Madness, and takes elements and puts them into this own thing that is this completely new experience. And I love the way there's some mechanisms in here, like you're drawing out of a bag to see what bad things you happen. There's different event cards that are pretty story driven, like, oh, you can imagine these things that are happening as you pull out these cards and they explain the event and whatnot. And of course, it's another hair puller outer, so it's really hard, especially when you're not playing the right way, as we have of experience playing the wrong rules. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I love the experience every time we play, and I got a bunch of expansion content for it that I haven't played yet, so I'm excited to give that a try. So number 8 for me is Arkham Horror 3rd Edition.
Oh man, yeah, the Lovecrafting universe is such a fun place to explore, and we always have a great time. And we love to set the mood too. We get a little bit of music
Oh
playing
yeah,
normally when we go with it,
that's right,
and I would definitely recommend that to anybody who tries it. But man, it's a great experience for sure.
for sure.
All right, so number 7 for me, and this is an oldie but a goodie, is Forbidden Island.
Oh, okay.
I I love this game because it's just every time it's suspenseful. Every time. I mean, you are trying to get the treasures, and you're trying to get off the island in time before it sinks. It's just such a neat experience. And it's simple. It's easy to get somebody who's new to play the game. It's a great team building game because you have to work together in order to do it. And I definitely have always enjoyed my number 7, Forbidden Island.
Yeah, it's a great, like you said, introduction to cooperative games, and a lot of like it goes off that basic formula of like you have like 4 actions. You've got a special ability, and you have actions that you can do, and it's pretty. That kind of thing is pretty easy to understand. But then, of course, I like with this game and others of its kind that you can increase the difficulty. So, I mean, as if it isn't difficult enough, but you can make it even more
Right.
difficult. So, yes, I love that. I think it's a great choice for a top 10 because you can't go wrong with it. So, good choice. My number 7, some people might think they could go wrong with this, but I don't. And that is Honey Buzz. Honey Buzz is this great game. I love unique themes, and there aren't that many buzz or bee themed games. There's not many buzz themed games either, but many
Oh
bee
yeah, right.
many bee themed games. And what you're doing is you have these worker bees called beeples, and you're putting them around the board. There's different things you can do, and what you're trying to do is you're just trying to build your hive. You've got these cool tiles that are like double hexes, and the challenge of the game is putting them down in particular configurations to where you make empty hexes so that you can fill those with pollen, which you can then convert into honey. And so the challenge, first of all, is positioning those hexes, but then you also have to try to sell those because that's where points come from is money, and you're selling them to woodland creatures, and you're trying to fill orders. It's a cute game, excellent looking game, wonderful components, but overall, it's just fun. I love it. So number 7 for me is Honey Buzz.
Oh, it sounds really sweet,
Mm.
like a very buzzworthy experience. I may need to try it out the next time I see you.
Um, yeah, just don't call me honey.
Fair.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
All right, so number 6 for me is Fireball Island. Now, I can't say enough about this game. The board is fantastic, and man, there's just a lot of bad things that are going to happen to you as you try to go around collect this treasure and get off the island. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's just so neat. I mean, you're flicking tigers at people. You're there. There's a great expansion where bees are coming and attacking, and there's just it's just a wonderful experience. Every time we go to pull the game out, I can't. My jaw drops to the floor because the smile is that big. I love my number 6, Fireball Island.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. I don't know if my jaw is gonna drop whenever I play this next game, but I like it, and I like that you've chosen Fireball Island because it's a classic. It's been around forever, but then the new edition just goes to show that a game's not done. A game always has a what's their tagline? Restoration Games is every game deserves another turn, and I
Yeah.
like that. So very good. My number 6 is it was a surprise to me that I put it on this list, and also that I put it on here because it's not a very popular game. It's not very well known. I mean, people know about it, but it's called Indian Summer. Now, this is by a popular designer named Uwe Rosenberg, who he's known for some types of games, but one of the things he likes to do in a lot of his games is these polyomino Tetris type shapes that you're putting down on a board. And in this one, you're trying to cover this leaf forest floor and putting those down and putting them in different shapes to cover it up. But you also have little holes in the shapes. And when you do that, you want to put them down on the floor, on the leaf forest floor to open up where these little treasures are, which by treasures they mean like feathers or berries or acorns. And when you do that, you can collect those and use them for extra actions. It's very clever and it looks so great. Like the leaves and the fall experience that it feels like when you play. I love to look at it. It's a peaceful game, and one of my favorite types of games is those spatial puzzles where you're trying to fit pieces together. So that's why I love Indian Summer so much.
Huh, neat. That sounds like another one that I definitely would want to try out
Yeah,
the next time I see you.
for sure,
For sure.
for sure.
So number 5 for me
We're halfway there.
is yes, we are. We're doing pretty good so far. Number 5 for me is Islebound. Now, I really enjoy this game for a couple of reasons. One, you are building buildings. There are a few different ways to win. You are recruiting workers. You are sailing around. You are just having a swashbuckling good time. I can't describe it in a better way as to how much I enjoyed it. It does also help that I normally win this game as well. I don't normally keep track of the games I do well in,
Boo.
but but I do. I enjoy Islebound every time we get it to the table. So that is number 5 for me.
Cool. Yeah, you said some good things, so cool. Awesome.
All right.
Let's move on to my number
Cool.
5. My number 5 is a game called Viticulture. Now,
Oh.
this is I love a game that the mechanics, the mechanisms, the things that you're doing in the game really fit the theme to where it feels like you're doing what you should be doing. And so in this game, you're making wine and you're running a winery or a vineyard, a winery. And so you're actually growing grapes and you're collecting those and then you're squishing them and then you're turning them into wine and then you're filling orders, but you're also giving tours to your vineyard. And these people are coming and they want things or they may come to help you. It's a great time. And another one that I don't always win, someone else here beats me. And I'm just going to call you out on this. You can win this game without making a single bottle of wine. This this guy over here, all he did was complete these cards and like get these bonus points and stuff, which I mean, hey, it works. But I mean, that's not in the spirit of the game, man.
Well, whoa, hey. I mean,
Whatever
I'll
works,
have
right?
a glass. I'll have a glass of wine the next time we play. Can we count that? Is
Okay,
that...
I'll allow it.
Well, I have to say I really enjoy viticulture as well. And it's neat exploring the different ways you can win in that game. So I definitely would recommend that one to anyone who wants to try something new.
Great.
Okay, so number four for me. Now we talked about Lovecraftian games a little bit earlier, and how neat they are. So this is my addition to that list. For me, it is Mansions of Madness,
Mm,
and specifically for me, the second edition.
yeah.
Now, I really, really enjoy this game because there is a lot of suspense in this one. I mean, from the very beginning, the narrator comes on with this ominous voice, and he just tells you about what's about to happen and how you were probably going to die. And
Pretty much.
then you explore the board, and it's just always interesting to see what's going to happen. One minute you're getting chased by a horde of zombies, and 1 minute you're fighting this. You're trying to close this portal to the other world, or something crazy is happening. That it just it's a game to me where you the art comes to life in your head. You don't just see it on the table; it's coming to life, and you're all gripping together to get
Hmm.
through the experience. And so number four for me is Mansions of Madness.
Yeah. This was a consideration. It's probably my top between, the next top 10 to 20, somewhere in there. But yeah, everything you said, great. My number four is a game called The Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
so this one, it's like, first of all, I love the theme. Adventuring, going exploring this lost ruins, this lost civilization. So kind of a little bit of a Indiana Jones kind of theme. But then what you're doing in the game is fun. So a combination of deck building, getting cards and making your deck better, but also worker placement, where you've got these little workers, these little archaeologists that you're putting out on the board to do things. There's a great combination of those things that mesh very well. And then there need some components, like there are some arrowheads that you play with, gems, little stone tablets that you're playing with, and you could do all kinds. This is another one of those. You could do all kinds of things. You can go defeat guardians, or collect things, or go up on the research track and learn new things, or hire assistants. There's so many things you can do in the game. At first it's overwhelming, but then you get into it, it's like, no, this makes complete sense. So I love Lost Ruins of Arnak, and it looks good too.
Oh man, what can I say except as soon as we played the game, I wanted to play it again.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a good sign of a really good game. So I definitely really enjoyed that one. All right, so number three for me, and this one I'm gonna be fully honest. I never thought this would make my list, but I love it so much. Number three for me is Root. I think it it just it's a neat experience every time you play, because especially if you want to try all the different factions out, it will be a different experience every time, to the point where they have a demo turn for each faction just so you can learn how they work. It's so interesting. It's so in depth. I love how in depth it is. And I love how you are going for a different objective depending on which faction you are. And that just makes it a really unique and neat experience every time. And so number three for me is Root.
Yeah. Also another good game that I'm sure that there are some other things that could be said about it, but we don't have to say that. Um, um, Speaking of games that more things can be said about, my number three is Islebound.
oh, well, that sounds familiar. I,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
may have
yeah.
heard it before.
You beat me to the punch, but that just means I like it more than you, so I win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything he said. I like the game. It looks great. It's, again, another one of those kind of peaceful, chill games. It feels good, except for whenever you're fighting sea monsters. Um, but another one that really the experience is enhanced by background music. I love putting on this music from tabletop audio, and it's got some ocean sounds with it, some the waves crashing, and then some bells clanging, and I love it. Now this used to be my number one. This was my number one game of all time from 2016 until this year. So two games jumped ahead of it. Um, but man, I love the game. and I think it's one that I'm going to hold on to, maybe forever. Even I'm going to be buried with it, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that really makes me wonder what has surpassed it because, man, I know how much you love
Yeah.
Outbound. So I'm excited to see number one and number two, what those are going to be.
Well, let's find out.
Okay, so number two for me, and I'm really excited about this one. And Spencer knows how much I love this game. Number two for me is Rococo, or as I like to call it, Rococo Say Yes to the Dress Edition. I love, love, love this game. It's one that you can win in multiple different ways. You're hiring new workers, you're building dresses, you're building fireworks. It becomes a neat, beautiful display that you're putting on as the board fills up throughout the game, and it's such a neat experience. It's a one that I can go a different way every time I play it, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. It's just so. It's so encapsulating. I mean, while I play it, I don't think about anything else except for
Uh,
making dresses, and I love making dresses now
yeah.
because of Rococo. So that is my number two.
So have you gone out and started making dresses?
Well, I made an attempt, and if I'm being honest with you, if I showed you, you probably would think it was a dish rag. But I tried. I did what I could. I did what I could.
Yeah, great game. I love it. And then again, this is probably in my top 20, Um, and I wanna the new edition is great. The deluxe version is
Ooh,
fantastic looking,
beautiful,
great
beautiful.
components. And it comes with a solo mode. So I want to try out the solo mode. But yeah, lovely, excellent choice for your number two. All right, let's move on. Oh wait, no, I still have to do my number two.
Yes, you
Okay,
do.
my number two is a little game called Root. Um,
Oh, sounds familiar once
so
again, man.
again, Root is I love it. Now it's funny because this is a game that I don't play often because of the barrier of entry. Like if you're gonna play with somebody new, you got to teach the game, not only teach the game, but then teach how each faction works, and at least give them some understanding of how the other factions work, so they know how to build some kind of strategy. So a lot of that goes into it, but when you are able to play it, it's phenomenal. And I've started playing the app. There's an app version of it that does all of the stuff for you, and you can play against another person or you can play against the computer. Um, that way, you don't have to know how each faction works exactly when you play, and you can just pull it out, play a game, be done with it. And that's one way I'm getting better at the game. But no matter what form it's in, I love it to the point to where I have everything for it, and I just backed the Kickstarter or their expansion on Kickstarter for the next one. I want this is a game that I want to have everything for, and I don't. There's not many games that I want because I'm like, okay, the game's enough. But for this one, I want the expansions because I see myself playing this and getting better at it over the years because there's so much to explore. And playing it with people new, bringing them in, making them understand it, and then next time we get together with that same group, try different factions. So much good stuff going on with Root. So yeah, my number two.
Oh man, and since Spencer called me out for spilling a drink earlier, I will give him just a little. We played with the new expansion the last time we played, and
I
I
know where
was
you're
the
going with this.
moles, and he played. I can't remember what the
The
other faction
the
was,
Corvid
but
conspiracy.
that's it. And I'm just trying to. I'm minding my own business, just planting my little molehills, just trying to get the guys out. And then all of a sudden, I just get exploded,
Yeah.
and I have to start all over in the middle of the game.
There was no coming back
so
for you. That just ruined you.
so long story short, we're even now. So it's
Yeah,
fine. It's
I
all
guess you
good.
could say that. All right, moving on to our number one.
All right, so number one for me, and I really didn't think Rococo was my number one, and I never thought it would be surpassed. But this game, every time I play it, I love it so much. Number one for me is Unmatched. It is
Oh,
just it's such a detailed experience, and I think that's why I like it so much. The decks are beautiful. The
yeah.
board is really neat. The little figures are cool as you go around the board, and it's an easy game to explain. You are having some of the most crazy matchups you could ever come up with. Sherlock Holmes can fight Bigfoot, and Robin Hood can fight Dracula, and the Invisible Man can fight any of them as well. It's just I love all the expansions for it so far. I'm excited for the new ones coming this year too. It is just a beautiful experience if you love. Taking a deep dive and like getting little Easter eggs throughout the game, I would definitely recommend it to anybody who wants to try it. Number one for me is Unmatched.
Yeah, let's talk about those different factions. So they've got like Buffy, characters from Buffy. They've
Yeah.
got a Jurassic Park one, which they're coming out with another one. They just recently announced Marvel. They're doing Marvel characters, which
Oh,
I
neat.
think is neat because they're not doing like the big ones. They're doing like the lesser known characters, which is cool.
Oh,
They
cool.
also, last one I'll talk about is they did a fan competition to design factions or design, characters, and they're going to pick the top 4 to actually publish. And so they just announced the winners. So get this. We're going to be able to play as Rosie the Riveter, Genie and the Lamp, Harry Houdini,
Uh huh.
and William Shakespeare.
Wow.
So those are going to be a lot of fun to explore. Like I can't even imagine how you fight as William Shakespeare. Um,
All right.
but
I mean, his words have to be his power, right?
apparently, I don't know. But yeah,
It's gonna be really neat. Yeah,
cool.
I love it. I can't wait to try it. I'll try it. That's how you were saying this Root was a game you want every version of.
Hmm.
I think Unmatched is that for me. I want every version of it. I love it. I can play it forever. Every time I see you, I want to play it.
Yep.
So that's why it's number one for me.
Oh, awesome. That's a very good choice. Okay. Number 1 for me, the one that's taken the place of Islebound, is a game by the same designer and the same publisher, and that's Sleeping Gods. This is a brand new game that it may not be my number 1, in a couple years, but right now, because of the experiences I'm having with it, nothing beats it. You play this crew on the ship, and you're sailing around what's called the Wandering Seas, and it's this massive open world uh, atlas that's multiple pages. And what's cool is like if you sail off the edge on one atlas, you turn the page and you come up off the bottom edge of the next one. So it's like you're continuously sailing, and you go around and you have these encounters. Like you go explore this location and you read a paragraph, and then something's going to happen. You have to make a choice. You got to have to fight monsters. And there's so much content in the game. Like I played through one scenario, or not one scenario. I played through one campaign already, and there's no way. Like I may have experienced 20%, maybe not even 20% of the content this game has to offer. So I've already started my second campaign that I'm exploring new stuff and taking a completely different direction. Um, and that's what I love about the game is like I know I'm going to play 4, 5, maybe 6 campaigns by the time I'm done with it. Um, just because I want to explore everything, and there are achievements you can do. There's all kinds of stuff you can unlock, and just a game that I have fun, and it feels like an adventure playing through it. And I want everybody to be able to experience it. It's not going to be for everybody, because I mean, I could see it not being for everybody, but I would like for people to try it and just to see. So you need to try it next time I see you.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan to me. I mean, any game that can surpass Root and Owlbound, I mean, I know that's got to be good because
Yeah.
I know how you feel about both of those. So I'm excited to try it out for sure.
Awesome. Well, this was great. Excellent. I think between the two of us, we have a fantastic list of games. So let's do a quick recap. Do you have your list ready to go?
Oh, I definitely do. But I feel like since I went first to start, you should go first with the your recap.
Oh, I'd be happy to. So, number 10 was Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Then we had Scythe at 9, Arkham Horror 3rd Edition at 8, Honey Buzz at number 7, Indian Summer at 6, number 5 was Viticulture, number 4 was Lost Ruins of Arnak, number 3 was Islebound, number 2 Root, and number 1 Sleeping Gods.
Ah, come on, guys, give me a slow clap for that one. That's such a list. That's such a great list. That's awesome. And for me, number 10 was the Grizzled. Number 9 was Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. Number 8 was Bane the Dice Game. Number 7 was Forbidden Island. Number 6 was Fireball Island. Number 5 was Islebound. Number 4 was Mansions of Madness, the second edition. Number 3 was Root. Number 2, Rococo. And number 1, Unmatched.
Excellent. There is your list is unmatched. Like no one can beat it. Okay, that was awkward. I tried. Okay. All right. Well,
You tried.
thank you everybody for joining us for this list. Seigen, again, welcome to the initiative. Glad you're here on the channel, and I'm excited to do more videos like this with you. And who knows what kind of shenanigans we can get into making other types of videos.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to start this journey. We have a very positive mission, and I'm always up for something like that for sure.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I want to know what your favorite game is or your favorite games. So let us know in the comments, top 2, 3, 4, or give me your top 10. Post them in the comments below. Also, don't forget, if you're ready to see more content from Seigen and maybe me if you want, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So to the Lighten Up initiative, and then click that little icon that gives you notifications when a new video is published. Then, only then, you'll be considered a cool person. But I think that's about it. So until next time, don't take the board game hobby too seriously.
Lighten up.
There we go. That's right.